What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heel Hookers Podcast, episode 139. Let's go. We are back after such many days after we recorded our last podcast, right?
I hate when you say that because we'd be in the same clothes and that looked crazy.
Yeah, for real. Literally, not even an hour later.
It's like plain t-shirts, okay, maybe no one will notice, but it's like a very specific, like, Cartoon Network, you know, like Rugrats.
I'm like, at least I'm in like a gray sweatshirt, so
It's
like
now
it would be
Wednesday.
But it is not Wednesday.
We recorded 4 a.m. the morning that the podcast comes out every time.
You're a goddamn idiot, move on.
It is Sunday at 7 p.m. my time.
And we are back gathered here once again to talk about another weekend of fights. This time, two big events coming at us. One, for the first time in history, fights on Netflix. That's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy that it did take a YouTuber and a 60-year-old boxer to bring fights to Netflix.
Yeah, I forgot we were talking about that first, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, oh yeah. Sorry.
We have to talk about it.
I know.
Yeah, it's big. It's so because it's like
we're technically part of MMA media, and MMA media is obligated to talk about Jake Paul.
Exactly. It's
which
just
is
how
fucking
it works.
annoying.
It is crazy that I'm pretty sure I've seen as many Jake Paul fights as I've seen Tyson Fury fights. They are the two boxers I have seen fight the most. I'm kind of sad to say that. Well, not on the Tyson Fury end, you know, but I've seen almost every single one of Jake Paul's fights, which is kind of sad.
I've seen most of them. I haven't paid for any, but I've seen most of
them. Paying for them, that's a different story, brother. I'll pay for a lot of things before I pay for a Jake Paul fight, you know what I mean? But either way, that is coming up this Friday on Netflix. That is honestly the real factor about this fight that I do think is the most meaningful and makes it extremely big, because it's like obviously the past few years with Saudi getting involved in just, you know, putting a lot of money into combat sports, making big fights happen, just doing a lot, you know, like there's just definitely been a boost to the entire combat sports bubble. And so I just feel like with Netflix now signing to have a fight, it again, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, the fight itself is kind of disgusting that it's even happening, but it is extremely big and meaningful for the combat sports industry, and I am very curious to see what kind of fights can end up falling on Netflix after this happens.
I mean, shit, when I don't know when the ESPN deal is up with the UFC, but I could easily see the UFC going over to Netflix as well, having fight nights on there. Potentially having a dual contract where they have fight nights on both Netflix and on a ESPN. That's entirely possible, because he has said that it's possible that they end up on multiple streaming services.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was something of like, oh, maybe fight nights on ESPN and like maybe the pay-per-views or something on Netflix, because I think Netflix is probably the only streaming company that has the straight up cash to offer UFC. Like, we will outright pay you whatever lump sum of money for this pay-per-view to not broadcast it as a pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's like, obviously the UFC doesn't want to go away from that model, but it's like Netflix, I don't think that like even if they get deep into like combat sports that they're going to look to be like having pay-per-views and like, you know, 67.
No, this isn't
like,
even a pay-per-view.
Exactly. And so that's where it's like, I think that they're the only ones that could have that type of money to be like, yeah, we could just show this to fucking 30 million, or I don't even know how many. I think it's like 30 million fucking users just in like America or some shit. Like, it's just like they have so many millions of viewers all over the world, easily the biggest streaming service. So that it's just that's definitely the thing I'm most curious to see what happens after this event with Netflix.
No, yeah, 100%.
But for the fight itself, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world that cares somewhat, like, you know, about this fight at all, or is like interested in watching it, pretty sure everyone's on the same page that we just want to watch Mike Tyson knock the fuck out of Jake Paul.
Yes.
It just sucks, man, because it's just one of those things where it's like, obviously he's a 60-year-old man, but it's like the dude can still throw somewhat like his old self for very short glimpses, you know what I mean? And I am just truly curious if that is actually enough to just go out there and just knock out Jake Paul. You know what I mean? Because it's like, brother, if Mike Tyson goes out there and knocks out Jake Paul or beats him in any sort of way, Jake Paul will forever have to shut the fuck up about any sort of Canelo Alvarez talking nonsense like that, fighting any sort of real boxers or, you know what I mean? It's like, brother, you can't go out there, get knocked out or beat by a 60-year-old man and then have any sort of thing to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you lose pretty much all credibility. Like, and the thing is, I have friends who are obviously not really into combat sports, not really into boxing, MMA, any of it, who have talked about this fight and wanting to see Jake Paul get knocked out by Mike Tyson.
Yep.
And I've had to, because I have seen so many Jake Paul fights, I have had to temper their expectations for this fight and telling them, yo, like, drop your expectations a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Because Mike Tyson is basically 60 years old. He's 58, but basically 60 years old. Had to pull out the last booking for this fight because of stomach ulcers.
Yep.
Like, it is like, he could do it, but like, please, like, temper your expectations for potentially a Jake Paul decision win.
Yeah.
That is entirely in play right now. That is not something that should be understated or overlooked. He is a decent club level boxer. He's not like, high level or anything, but he's somewhat decent.
Yeah.
And that's not great for when you're fighting someone who's, when you're a 58-year-old man fighting for the first time in a legitimate fight in however many years. Because, like, he had that Roy Jones thing, but that was kind of like
3 years ago or something.
Yeah, and it was kind of like more of an exhibition.
That was an exhibition. They weren't allowed to knock each other out.
Sparring, so that's kind of the thing. It's just like, just roll your expectations back a little bit, because
also, like, Jake, the taller, longer fighter, he's like 3 inches taller, 4 inches reach advantage.
I mean,
5 inches.
I mean, that's a thing, but like, Tyson has always fought people taller, longer than him, and he's knocked him out. So like, I don't think
again,
the reach
but with being the
it's
age
more
and
the
being
age
slower,
and speed.
like that's where it's gonna
looking at
be the factor.
Than the range. Tyson can always get into range, like that. The peekaboo style, the style that he fights in, is explicitly made to get shorter fighters into range of longer, taller fighters.
Yeah, and that's where it's just like, it's like, being a 60-year-old man, it's like, how many actual minutes can he do that for? You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
It's like, what I'm saying with his age, it's like that range is going to be a factor.
Yeah, it's like, they are 2-minute rounds, so it's going to go by quick, but it's like, I would not be surprised if it's like he has like a decent showing first round, and it's like, if he's not able to get anything done, then it's just like, like you said,
it's gonna be diminishing returns.
It could easily be just Jake, like, being longer, taller guy, just jabbing whatever, just a way to a boring decision. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I do think Jake needs to be careful with his body jab, because he does that a lot.
Yeah,
and Mike Tyson has vicious fucking uppercuts.
Oh yeah,
I will say that. Like, his uppercuts are completely vicious. And a lot of the times he doubles up on the side where he, like, move, jab to the body, right hook to the body, uppercut, and he floored so many guys with that. Simple combo.
Yeah. It would be great if Tyson could win. Jake probably is going to win. Let's see how it goes. Obviously, just people like us just going to be talking about it just in the universe and stuff. But in terms of like actual boxing media and people and stuff, they did a very good job to put the co-main event as Katie Taylor versus Amanda Soriano 2. So now boxing people actually have to give a fuck about this card and talk. Like, they honestly did a perfect job, because it's like, you have Jake who's fucking in his 20s, the younger guys with like, he's gonna have all the young fans, fucking TikTok generation, all those motherfuckers watching it, matched up against Mike Tyson, who is like, I've literally had like my fucking 60-year-old supervisor talk about this fight so much earlier this year when it was booked for July. His fucking his brother, like, who's in his 60s and stuff like that, and like, he's talking about this, and like, like, it is an entire different generation that is pulling into putting it on Netflix, which is the most universal platform in the world, like, putting real boxing fights underneath it. It is absolutely built in the most perfect way possible to get as much people, as much attention on it. And honestly, like, in terms of the event and with all that, congratulations on them on getting it all done and fucking throwing it all together. We still got 5 more days until it all actually takes place, and anything could obviously happen. Fucking, but yeah, it is definitely very smart how they put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's also a WBC welterweight title fight on the line.
Word. So yeah,
so they've got a couple fights where boxing media actually has to pay attention to it, which again, very smart by most valuable promotions to do all that.
Yep. But with that, we will go on to the fights taking place on Saturday from MSG, New York, New York. What a not MSG card it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Overall, like, in my opinion, for a pay-per-view, it's not like it's a bad pay-per-view. We've had easily worse pay-per-views, even this year and stuff. Like, just, but
yes,
for what it's overall just MSG, like, from the beginning, like, when they would go to 3 title fights and shit, and, like, Connor fights and stuff. It's just nowhere near as big as what it used to be. But it is being headlined. Finally, we get this fight. Jon Jones, heavyweight champion, taking on Stipe Miocic, former heavyweight champ. Greatest light heavyweight champ, taking on the greatest heavyweight champ. Obviously, we've been fucking waiting for this fight since March of 2023. We've known it was going to happen. We're finally here, again, a year and 8 months later. I know most people are just kind of done with this, don't care, just want it to be over. But I know for me, one, I'm not counting Stipe out of this fight at all. I'm giving him a way better chance of getting something done or looking good in this fight than most people. But it's also like, just because this fight is over, that doesn't necessarily mean things are going to be better for a while. Because at least with Jones not fighting Tom for like all this time, whatever, at least we like know that he's going to be fighting Stipe and that's what they're looking to and we have something. If he just goes out there, rolls over Stipe or whatever, it's like, it's just going to be the UFC like, okay, unify with Tom, and he's going to be like, nope, don't want to do that, give me Poatan. And then it's what now, like, the now, like, 205 is going to get held up to maybe try and get something done with, like, Poatan and Jones over fucking 8 months or whatever, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like Jones winning, it's just the potential for 2 divisions to get held up is entirely possible, where right now only Tom Aspinall is really getting fucked. You know what I mean? Like, as shitty as it is and all that, but it's like, man, things just are not necessarily going to be better.
The thing is, and because even with that, I'm not sure if 205 will end up really getting fucked. Because when is Jones going to want to come back? Like, okay, let's say he wants to have that fight with Poatan, but he still wants to retire in MSG, take his gloves off in his home state. He's going to wait a whole year for that to happen?
He would.
He would. Poatan, though. We know he's going to fight Magomed. He fights Magomed, I don't know when, but let's say it's like first quarter of next year.
Yeah, like March.
You think he's just going to be like, yeah, it's fine. I'll wait until November. Like,
no, not at all.
Exactly.
No. Yes.
So there's so much toss-up in it because it's like, if Poatan ends up, like, let's say he does keep winning and it still makes sense for the fight to happen. He gets injured, he gets sick, something happens, fight doesn't happen, or, he just end up taking too much damage in one of these fights, he's not down to fight, now there's no fight happening. Yes. Let's say he does end up taking a loss, and now it's just like, okay, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's just too many what-ifs, because I really don't believe that Poatan's gonna be like, yeah, I beat Magomed, now let me sit out for the next 7-8 months to fight Jon Jones up at heavyweight. Like, I just... No,
and I feel like that just only leads into the problems of things that are going to get held up, because it's like, while Jones is sitting out trying to get the Poatan fight, Tom's still going to be the interim champ. UFC's still going to be trying to do that. So, like, it's just going to, like, because then if Poatan, let's say he, like, let's say, he beats Magomed and then he does another fight, like, International Fight Week, and then loses there. Now, from International Fight Week trying to get to MSG, you're going to have fucking Dana trying to get the negotiations done with him versus, like, Tom Aspinall. Like, I am almost fairly certain that if Jon Jones wins, that heavyweight title picture is going to be held up until MSG next year.
Okay, well, listen.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
I am one of those people that's like, okay, I can't wait for this fight to be over. But even though I know that it's not going to, like, fix everything, at least this fight's out of the way, because I do believe that Poaton's going to keep himself active and just like, do whatever and not just wait out for that MSG fight. So in the meantime, Tom is also probably just going to defend his belt. If it doesn't work out for a Poaton Jones fight at MSG, and Jones doesn't agree with any of the negotiations for him versus Tom at MSG, they're going to strip him. And I know that they hate that, but then Tom gets promoted and it worked itself out anyway. Tom was fighting, Poaton was fighting, but at least we're not waiting for this one fight where everyone's like, oh, Tom's not the real champ, this, that, and the third. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just gets closer to the end. It's one step closer there.
I think, McGregor was the featherweight champion for like 500 days or something?
No, and I understand where you're going with that.
Never even talks of defending it, only because the UFC wanted him to be double champ to do a fight. Like, if the UFC has something in mind that's going to be big and worth doing something, they don't give a fuck about anything else, And that's where it's like, and because like to your point, it's like, we get this fight done. Like no matter what happens, at least the process is going, and that'll just lead to whatever. But it is just like for me, I'm just like. Yeah, Jones could easily go out there, steamroll Stipe, and it's whatever, a nothing fight, all that. But it's like, things are still going to be annoying for a long time. So it's like, I'm just going to enjoy it, whatever it could potentially be, like, in the lead up to it. You know what I mean? That, I guess, like, just kind of the mindset I've come down to with this main event.
Yeah. I do also want to say that, like, with Conor McGregor's, like, situation was a little bit different because he did go over to fight Floyd Mayweather, all this other stuff, had all this other bullshit going on that was really helping to promote the UFC into a higher stratosphere. And McGregor and Dana White, especially at that time, did not have a bad relationship. Jones and Dana have had one of the rockier relationships in UFC history. So, like, I could see, especially, like, after this one, if he really is starting to be like, no, I'm not fighting Tom. No, I'm not fighting Tom. Dana's going to be coming after him in the media, and it's just going to make it more rocky. And then, like, if he just straight up is refusing to fight Tom, even though, like, Poaton, let's say, does lose his title, and then he's like, no, I still want to fight Poaton. It's just like, Dana, it might come to a head where Dana's just like, no, fuck you.
No, yeah, for sure. But
there is, like, a different dynamic between those.
Because, like, with the Conor example, it's like, Jones is a star, but we all know that Conor put himself in a different stratosphere with his stardom.
For sure.
So he also got a lot more...
preferential treatment.
Yeah, like, Dana was just more lackadaisical with him because it was just like, Conor's the star, he brings in money every fucking time, like, you know what I mean? Like, this fight, there is so much shit talk on it, like, and just even like with the year we're in, we talk about it all the time, that no matter what fight you put on, there's a good chance the numbers are going to be lower than they were fucking 7 years ago, because piracy is up so much due to the way that they are just hiking up the prices constantly. So, like, it's just with the way that Jones doesn't bring in the same amount of people and the way piracy is up, it's like, this isn't going to do some crazy number and the way they put the card, you know what I mean? It's like, this isn't going to do some crazy number where they're like, oh no, we need to keep him here for this long, like, I think it's going to be much quicker than Conor.
But like, I definitely like, do wonder, that's where it's like, that's where I just feel like I expect this all to be resolved this time next year. You know what I mean? Like, that's where, but I do expect it to take a while because although, it's like he's not as big of a star and everything, he is a consistent star. And that, like, compared to, like, everyone else in the organization, obviously Conor's always going to be the exception, but it's like...
And that's why I said, like, I know he is a star. Like, it's just...
Because it's like, he's still going to probably sell out MSG. You know what I mean? Like, that's the... Like, there's not many other fighters that, as much as people are talking shit online about this fight and everything, Jones and Stipe are going to sell out MSG more than likely, there are not many like matchups in the UFC that can actually do that because it's always going to be a ridiculous ticket price that gets charged there, so it's like, it's definitely not the best fight that should be happening. It should be Jones versus Tom.
Yes.
But with Stipe, I do think that like, with Jones just running through Cyril, Stipe has infinitely better grappling than what Cyril Gane has. I do not think that's the path to victory that Jones is just going to be able to get done. And then just something that, like, he struggled in the Dominic Reyes fight was just the forward pressure boxing of Dominic Reyes consistently throughout that fight. I do think that is something of a game plan that Stipe can bring and, like, actually give Jones problems because it's like, he's not, like, not some like crazy athletic heavyweight or anything like that, but it's like he's like a slimmer heavyweight, he's not like super fat and heavy and like super slow. So it's like being older, it's obviously going to be a bit slower probably than his last fight, you know what I mean? But it's like, I do think Stipe can have some tools that could give Jones problems, and it's just I just feel like with all this time off, it's like it's one of those things. Some fighters are going to struggle from ring rust, others aren't. I don't think Stipe is going to be a fighter that affects him. I feel like he's going to be as rejuvenated and ready to go as he could possibly be, and I would not be surprised if Stipe is able to give him a good fight or get it done in this one.
No, and I understand that. Like, it is like with the forward pressure boxing, like he also does have 3 inches of reach on Dominic Reyes, so it's not like the range is really going to be that much of a problem considering Dominic Reyes was able to get into that range. Stipe's got infinitely more 5-round experience than Dominic Reyes had in that fight, so he's actually going to understand how to pace himself, how to fight in a 5-round fight.
Tough as hell too.
Yeah, tough as shit. Just there are multiple things that do lead into like him having the potential to be able to beat John. I just feel like John at heavyweight is just going to be different, and it just is like, yeah, he's going to be able to use his leg kicks to keep Stipe at bay. He might be able to like land more because of how heavy on the front foot Stipe is. Those front leg oblique kicks are going to be a real big problem for Stipe. The side kicks, I just think that he might be able to keep Stipe at bay because it is a different weight class. John Jones is different than what he was back then, because like Jones back then was definitely just like, yeah, I'm just the fucking greatest. I'm gonna be able. I think he's a little different at heavyweight because he knows like everyone at heavyweight has knockout fucking power. Not everyone at 205 had knockout power. And Jones, even though like we don't see it tested all that often, he does have a chin. Like people do forget that. Like he has been hit clean before by heavy hitters, and he has not gone out or even looked really wobbled in any of his fights. So like he is durable as hell as well. So it is like one of those things where I feel like John Jones is intelligent enough of a fighter and has enough fight IQ that he's going to be able to win over 5 rounds against just about anyone in the heavyweight division for the most part anyway. So it just is one of those things.
Yeah, and honestly, like just kind of thinking about it more, I do kind of feel like that, this is more than likely going to go all 5 rounds, because it's just like, I don't think that Jones is going to be able to dominate Stipe in the grappling, where he can probably just get a finish or something like that. And it's like the last two, I don't think that he's going to sub Stipe. That I feel very unlikely. And it's like the last 2 finishes he has with strikes are the ground and pound over Gustafsson in 2019, and then the head kick knockout over DC that was in 2017, I think.
Gustafsson was 2018.
Okay, 2018. So it's like it's been 6 years since he's finished someone via strikes, and he has 1 submission win against Cyril since then.
Yeah, so, and even between then, it's like, he had that finish over Gustafsson in 2018. The last one, was Chael Sonnen in 2013.
Yeah. It's just like, this honestly, probably does go 5 rounds, and I feel like you just definitely, like you said, Jones can probably beat anyone in the world over 5, but I feel like you definitely can't, count Stipe out over 5 rounds either.
No, because he had the mid-fight adjustment, round 3 against Daniel Cormier to start going to the body?
Something like that, I think, round 2 or 3.
So...
But
he is a smart fighter. That's the thing that people don't understand about Stipe, and the thing that they underestimate about Stipe. His fight IQ is really good. I just think his game planning isn't the greatest sometimes. His initial game planning for a fighter.
That's fair. But so it's... like I said, not the greatest fight at heavyweight, not the fight that's supposed to be happening. This is just another fight in Jones' legacy with heavyweight. That's just all right, not fighting the guy that you're supposed to be. Should have fought Francis. Could be fighting Tom, refusing to do it, but I still do think that this is a good fight, and it's I'm sure there are other people that are ranked above Stipe right now that could give Jones a tougher fight probably, but I'm still interested, and it still is an exciting fight for me, and definitely worthy of a pay-per-view main event for the UFC in my opinion.
Honestly, Volkov, just because of his size, is such an interesting matchup for John Jones, because I think it'd be the first time he's actually shorter than his opponent.
Probably. He probably just gets grapple fucked though. It's
no,
hard. But let's see how that main event plays out and everything to come from it. But this motherfucking co-main event, I know you were saying that you don't get like, the main event pay-per-view feels or anything with that main event, and you do with this one. Holy fuck, the feels. These guys could fight 25 times. It could be the same result every time. And that 26th time, I would still be just as goddamn excited as the first one.
Yeah.
Because Charles Do Bronx Oliveira taking on Michael Chandler, finally returning after a 2-year layoff.
I just realized this weekend we have 2 Iron Mikes fighting.
Yes, we do. And then with the main event, obviously, UFC side main event, co-main, 2 very long layoffs as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where I will never root out Michael Chandler to knock anyone out at 155 in the first round.
Yeah.
And it's just with Oliveira, it's just to kill or be killed, where it's just like, I don't know, this fight could play out basically the same way as the first one, where Oliveira gets absolutely demolished round 1, is able to survive, and then finishes him round 2 or something, or Chandler could find the right shot round 1 where Oliveira is actually down and out, or Oliveira just finishes him round 1. I do not fucking know. All I know is that this fight does not hit the third.
No.
I just do not believe that this fight hits
past 10 minutes. The fact
it's
booked for 5 is kind of insane.
I mean, it makes sense, you know what I mean? Just in case, and you know what it's like, because if they're fucking putting on a good back and forth and it's going into the third, it's going to be like, goddamn, this should have had 2 more rounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
I still see it going that far.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it'll be kind of crazy if it does. I'm just so excited for that shit, though.
Yeah. Heading into fight week, though, obviously we still got some days before it happens. Who are you guys leaning in this fight? Or is it the same kind of feeling of me where you have no fucking idea, really?
The thing is that it's the Charles Oliveira fight.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to root for him to win.
For sure.
Yes.
And so my bias really, really, dazes it for me when it comes to Charles Oliveira fights.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning Oliveira. I don't necessarily count Chandler out because I know that he's just has that crazy first round and can definitely put anyone out. And Charles is chinny, but I'm still rooting for my boy.
Yeah.
I feel like it goes in a somewhat similar way to the first fight. I'm not gonna lie. I am excited for this fight, but I do feel like Oliveira is going to kind of get hit up in the first round. Chandler's going to try and get him out of there. He's going to be able to survive on the ground because Chandler's going to go in for ground and pound. And then second round, either he catches him again with some type of hook or shot while he's coming in, or he's able to get him down and actually sub him. I firmly believe, hell, I could see Oliveira doing Chandler like he did Dustin Poirier, where it's a standing rear naked choke as well.
That's definitely fair. Yeah, I've been having a slight bad feeling that Chandler is gonna get it done over Oliveira, but to your same point, it's Oliveira. I can't root against him. That it's just not happening. Oliveira's gotta go out there, finish this man, and then call out motherfucking Max Bless Holloway for a BMF title fight. That's it. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that one, I've accepted it. I've accepted the fight, and one of them can lose because obviously they have to. But I love that
so
fight.
Good. It's so fucking good.
It's just so hard when it's your 2 favorite fighters, but it's it's so good.
Yeah,
I need it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but absolutely amazing co-main event. It is going to be fireworks as long as it lasts. Let's fucking go. On to the featured bout. It's not too often with a MSG card that you got main event good, boom, whatever. Co-main event, great, awesome. And it's a bit of a drop off. You know what I mean? It's not too often that we could kind of say that. Because going into the featured bout, we got motherfucking 6-0 undefeated Bo Knackle taking on Paul Craig, 17-8-1 in his professional career. It's a great fight. I love this fight. I am super
Mhm.
excited for this fight. It's just one of those things where MSG, this should have been main card opener because you're trying to push Bo Nickel. You know what I mean? Like, and in all reality, Bo Nickel, Paul Craig on an MSG card could it should be a fucking like prelim featured, like, you know, the featured prelim bout or something.
Nah, yeah.
But we get as the featured bout on the pay-per-view. How you guys feeling about this one heading into it?
Yo, it's a rough fight for Bo. Like, realistically, it's like, yeah, Bo is 6-0. He has had 6 professional fights, 3 of them in the UFC. And they're against Jamie Pickett, who is no longer in the UFC, Val Woodburn, who he's still around, right, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, him, and I think that was short notice too. Yeah, because he was supposed to fight Tresean Gore. And then Cody Brundage. Paul Craig, like, yeah, he definitely has some rough losses.
Yeah.
But they are all to people with much more experience than Bo. They've been around in the UFC for more fights. Like, they're up in the rankings. Like, they've really had true tests where it's like, okay, they fought Paul Craig and now they've done better things since then, you know? I don't know. Like, it's just definitely a good test for him. You can't count out Paul Craig. Like, he's so slippery and tricky, and he just be throwing shit up, and it's like Bo likes to take things to the ground. Like, he might just go right into Paul Craig's trap, you know what I mean? Even if he hurts him and thinks he's safe to follow him, like, you never know. If Bo gets it done, like, I wouldn't be surprised, but this would definitely be a great win for him.
This would be a great win. This is going to be, because the styles are very much both grapplers. One jiu-jitsu, one wrestling, and that's going to be very interesting. I do want to point out one very interesting statistic for Paul Craig in the UFC so far. He has fought 7 undefeated fighters. He is currently 4-3. He is 9-8-1 in the UFC. We have continually called this man the greatest 50-50 fighter, well, one of the greatest 50-50 fighters of all time. So it's, statistically speaking, he's more, if he loses, he's going to go completely 50-50. So I do believe, because of those statistical facts and not because of anything that has to do with the fight, Bo Nickel is going to win.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like obviously Bo Nickel is a good fighter. You know what I mean? Like, he's good for being a 6-0 fighter. I feel like some people like just hyping him up too much for like what I feel like he's actually proven to be so far. It's like, you know, just talking about fights with like, just Dricus, Hamzat, the best in the world. It's just like I haven't seen anything yet that confirms he could actually do that right now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Look, Cody Brundage was able to defend some takedowns. That's not a great look for you at the moment. For sure.
And I just feel like with Paul Craig, though, it's just he's one of those guys where it's like, he can catch motherfuckers, like, you know, just in wacky shit that's like just getting too far out in front of their skis, trying to finish him, do whatever. I don't think Bo is going to find himself in that spot. I do think he is probably a smart enough fighter to know what he has to watch out for with Paul Craig. And I do think that he is physical enough that I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes out there, runs over Paul Craig, and he's just on to the next one. You know what I mean? It's like Paul Craig is definitely that guy that could, you know, like just catch him in something and can find a way to get it done. But it's just one of those things where I want to see Bo Nickel take like just the slow steps up, moving up into like the top fights. I feel like this is the next right step for him, and I feel like he should be able to get it done over Paul Craig.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, you know, it's a good test because Paul is tricky. I do think Bo should get it done, though.
Yeah. But it's just also one of those things. It's like Paul Craig has lost. And like, to your point, he has fought more undefeated fighter. I'm pretty sure that's all UFC fighters, right?
Yes.
He has fought more undefeated UFC fighters than Bo Nickel has pro fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things where Bo Nickel probably should be the favorite. A minus 1,000 favorite heading into this fight, though. It's just like, it's kind of crazy what the odds makers do sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the faith that they put on some people.
What's Paul Craig at right now? What's his
probably a fucking like plus 650? Oh yeah. Well, on Tapology.
Plus 650.
Yeah, on Tapology that's what it's showing. So obviously
I might sprinkle something on that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's not bad. Fucking, you gonna do it feel like
It's
you
Paul
might as well
Craig.
do it Paul Craig by sub, because I feel like that's going to be the way he gets it done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, you could probably get yourself a real nice chunk of change off of an upset with that. But yeah,
Just sprinkle a little on there, like
little
$2 bet.
Yeah, a little $2-3. That's it. But yeah, it should be a good one. Should be fun, but definitely it's just like, all right, the drop off of MSG, we see it. Going on to the next pay-per-view fight, I am very excited to see Karine Silva perform again, taking on Viviane Araújo, a good tough test in the top 15 of 125 pounds.
Yes.
4-0 in the UFC for Karine. Kind of just saying with, like, you know, Bo Nickel, it's like I don't know exactly how far she's going to go, but she seems extremely good. I have a feeling that she's going to go pretty far. But Viviane just the next right step up, and I feel like she's going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, probably. Viviane definitely getting older at 37 years old now. But yeah.
Yeah, it just the pressure and everything of Karine, you know what I mean? I feel like that's just going to be enough.
Is Karine going to be the first person to sub her?
I was just going to say, Viviane never been subbed in her career, so I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get it. But if she does, that is definitely going to be a nice feather in the cap to move into the top of the division, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, fucking Karine. I didn't even realize, but her decision over Ariana Lipski or De Silva, that was her first decision win. She has 8 KO wins, 9 submission wins, and that was her first decision, sorry.
That's crazy.
9 subs. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it'd be pretty impressive if she could go out there and be the first person to sub Viviane.
yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Just like, yeah, one of those things, just got the UD, like, you know, over Ariana. Like, I feel like Viviane is good enough more than, you know, Ariane, but it just one of those things where, you know, like, just young fighter moving up, just progressing fight over fight, you know, like
Jasmine was the first one to sub Ariane in this fight that just happened with the Darce choke.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe she realized what she was struggled with in that fight, and she's able to adjust to do better against Viviane, and now she'll be the first person to sub Viviane. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be awesome if you could.
Yeah, it'd be fucking awesome.
And also with Araujo, it would be kind of funny because her last 2 losses would be to Natalia Silva and then Karine Silva.
Yep. Yeah, I know. When they booked that, I was just like, just doing, just doing
the Silvas.
Yeah, doing the like reverse of fucking
Neil Magny, Jeff Neal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, either way, Karine Silva, she is definitely a very fun fighter to watch. With saying that, like, you know, the MSG like pay-per-view isn't the greatest, I do at least like that they are putting good prospects on it. So hopefully, just, you know, being the MSG card and like having a big main and co-main event, get a lot of eyes on it.
Eyes on these guys.
And that's why it'd be extra like good for her if she could perform and get that sub done. You know, because you know, not only will commentary just be hyping her up, but they'll bring up that stat. They'll just bring up the little things, and maybe people will be like, oh shit, Karine Silva?
Yeah.
Because people are getting the hype on Natalia Silva, which I super appreciate, so now it's Karine's time.
Yeah, because then just
let's bump up that hype. Yeah. I'd love to see it.
It's just like, if, you know, with, Viviane just being tough and strong and good, you know, I wouldn't be the most surprising if, like, this ends up being not, like, the most exciting fight, and it's just like, oh, okay, tough fight for Karine, but she was able to get it done, and it's just like, man, I just hope that, like, pay-per-view main card, like, the fans just aren't booing the fuck out of it, you know what I mean? Like, that could be a potential, because I feel like, especially with the fight happening before it, the main card opener, Mauricio Hufi taking on James Yontop. Mauricio is fucking good, man. And it one of those things, UFC usually tries to line up like the main card opener as an exciting one. And I just,
Okay, sorry, I'm just interested because Mauricio Hufi, he is only won by knockout. He's 10-1, 10 knockout wins, 1 knockout loss. James has never been knocked out before. He went to the split decision with Slava Claus. They had a good back and forth. He missed weight against Taco Padilla, and, you know, ended up just getting hurt and choked out for it. But, like, I'm just... I wonder.
Yeah.
He's definitely tough as hell, like, you know, 0-2 in the UFC, but like I said, that fight with Slava Claus was a pretty good one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. If he goes out there and knocks him out, good for him.
They'll definitely be bringing up that stat.
Yeah. I was going to say, we going to get back-to-back fights where like just up and coming fight. You know, Mauricio, like the prospect, just being the first one knock out James Yontop, Karine being the first one to sub Viviane.
That'd be awesome.
I'd love it.
Paul
And then
Craig,
at the top
first
of the
one to
card,
beat O'Nackle.
and then at the top of the card, the first person to legitimately beat John Jones.
Would be pretty
That'd
damn
go crazy.
Yeah.
That would go insane.
But yeah, Mauricio, 28 years old, 1-0 in the UFC. Just a real, seemingly fun and just good addition to the lightweight division.
Yeah.
So, like I said, 10-1. All of that knockouts, like
Yeah, because his debut against Jamie Mullarkey, it's like Jamie Mullarkey is not the greatest fighter in the world. Clear flaws, very tough though and scrappy. But it's like the way that Mauricio was just toying with him in there. It was just like, okay, man, like there have been a lot of like guys like that have struggled with Jamie in like certain ways, and it's like that was just a fucking beat down. Like it was.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and it's like that's the thing though. It's like Jamie Mullarkey isn't like the greatest, but he should be beating up on people who are coming in making their debuts, and he got mollywopped in that fucking fight.
Yeah,
like it's like that just shows a level that like Goofy is on. Like his nickname is literally One Shot, and I believe it. There's a reason his nickname is One Shot.
Yeah.
Another fighter out of Fighting Nerds, teammate with Carlos Prates.
Yeah.
And Caio
and all that, Caio,
Jean Silva,
Jean Silva, like
yeah, man,
they're quickly starting to take over this sport.
I was just gonna say, like in very short period of time, they fucking burst onto the scene, and all of their guys are doing things.
Yeah, it's like where did they all fucking come from? You know what I mean? Because it was just all of a sudden Caio up at middleweight, all of a sudden fucking
Jean Silva,
Jean Silva at featherweight, Mauricio at lightweight,
and then Prates just
Prates coming into welterweight this year and just on a tear, like all in different divisions, just 45 to 185. They all got a guy like.
Yeah, no, and that's insane. Like,
where's that 35 fighting nerd at? You know what I mean?
Is that the real reason why Jean Silva fights at 45?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be shocked at that either. Also, where is it? I just saw them on here. Bruno Brazil is also part of Fighting Nerds as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. Remember them saying that.
Yeah, let's not talk about
that. But like, no, like legitimately, all these other fighters, it's like, damn, they're coming in and just busting the door down. Like, legitimately, these guys are like probably fight camp of the year right now.
Yeah. Let's go. So that's the pay-per-view main card for UFC 309. The prelims, we do got some pretty damn fun fights on the prelims. The early prelim part, not as good as the main prelim portion.
Yeah, not many fights on this pay-per-view. 12 fights.
Definitely a shorter card. But my motherfucking boy, Jonathan Martinez, back after his loss to Jose Aldo. He's taking on motherfucking Ginger's boy, Marcus McGee.
Yes.
And I'm pretty scared for this one, honestly. I
am too, to be fair.
McGee just goes out there trying to blast the doors off of everyone that stands in front of him. And I just do not think Jonathan Martinez has the tools to just stay safe and win that kind of fight. That's someone's really gonna be going after him with big shots and putting it on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Marcus, just another guy, came in 3 fights, 3 performance bonuses, just fucking these guys up. But it is also Journey Newson, JP Buys, and Gaston Bolanos.
Very true.
So
he has not fought the greatest competition yet, and that's why I'm nervous, because Jonathan Martinez does have a lot. Like, even though you're saying he might not have the tools for this type of fight, he does have a lot of tools at his disposal that I think Marcus McGee could have very much a problem with trying to get within the reach of Jonathan Martinez, because I'm pretty sure Martinez is a taller, longer fighter in this fight.
Martinez
5'8", 69.5 to
5'8", 69.
Okay, so not really.
Them, no, not really.
Yeah, same height, same reach, basically.
Yeah, it's because Martinez is super solid. I just feel like if Marcus McGee goes in there and basically like disrespects the power and like the striking of Martinez, he's running through him no problem. If he's being too patient and giving him that respect, I feel like he's going to give Martinez too much just time and space to work, and then it could easily start going downhill over time.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Marcus McGee 3-0 in the UFC, Jonathan Martinez 10-4. Like, he has fought a bunch of people. He's fought some who's. You know, his last 4: Cub Swanson, Said Nurmagomedov, Adrian Yanez, and then Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge test and a huge jump up in competition for Marcus McGee.
Yeah.
I love him. He is I just love the way he fights. He's an amazing fighter. The picture on Tapology looks like Vanderlei Silva with dreads.
Yeah.
No, I just hope
it's a great
he's
fight,
able.
though.
It is a great fight, and I want Marcus to win. I love Jonathan Martinez too, but like, I just like Marcus McGee more right now. I don't know.
It sucks because it's like, if this like you were to ask me about this fight 2-3 weeks or 2 weeks ago, I would have said Jonathan Martinez all day. But given the fact that I've had 3 fighters fall out of my draft fighting for the rest of this year, I really need Jonathan Martinez to go out there and get knocked the fuck out.
Yo, go fuck yourself.
Kate cannot win another single fight on the draft. That's the only way I can win, because we'll have the same amount of wins, but you'll have more losses, so better ratio.
Not fair. I've had more fights.
Still, either way,
Jonathan Martinez is going to go out there and win.
It does kind of suck that this is like this one fight solidifies the draft. Like,
I know
it doesn't matter after this win. Like, or well, I mean, if he wins, it's over. But because if he wins this fight, then you're gonna have 20 points, and neither me or Ginger are winning. So
yeah,
he can win the draft overall for the year this weekend. I really hope that I'm able to continue it with a loss from her and more wins from me.
Well, you have Karine Silva on the card.
Yes. So then we have 2 chances for her to end this week. Well, because, I mean, if she loses, we could still Shavkat get the Usman fight potentially, and then I could be back in it. I'm
getting less and less confident
me
in
too.
it the more time goes on.
Yeah.
I know that we still have about a month to it, but it's like,
I know. I have the same feelings. But yeah, either way, I feel like this is going to be a great fight between them. Can't wait to see how it plays out. What are your guys' fun level meter going for Chris Weidman versus your boy Eric Anders?
Low.
Fun level meters.
Frowny face on the fun level meter?
Straight face, like the emoji where it's just like the 2 eyes and then the straight line. That's how I feel about it.
Chris Weidman.
Very neutral.
Is back with a new set of supplements. He's able to eat punches again for some reason, even though he's older than ever and he's been knocked out
6 times out of his 7 losses.
His chin is somewhat back somehow. I feel like he's probably just going to go in there and just beat Eric Anders, huh?
Yeah.
Probably going to be able to out-wrestle him. He's probably going to do a little bit more on the feet.
It's not like Eric Anders is much younger. He's 37 to Chris is 40, And I don't know if he's on a new supplement.
I'm not sure. Definitely not what Chris got, He's got those former champ supplements. It's a whole different level of stuff. But yeah, I did more than likely Chris Weidman decision, I would guess.
16-7 to 16-8.
Yep, very close in records.
It's insane that Eric Anders has more fights than Chris Weidman.
It is pretty crazy, honestly. Just one of those things, yeah. Jim Miller back taking on Damon Jackson.
Yep.
Let's go, our boy Jim Miller. Is this fight number 45?
I believe so.
Let's see.
No.
44. God damn it. Needed to be 45 so he could retire off a knockout win in MSG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Jersey.
Yeah.
As close as close
as
to
close as he was gonna get.
I mean, they were in Jersey earlier this year, so they could potentially go back. But yeah, is motherfucking Jim Miller, man. I just really hope he's able to go out there, get a nice win. Damon Jackson, he's definitely been knocked out a few times. 4 of his 7 losses come by knockout. So I would not be surprised if Jim Miller was able to go out there and maybe land something big, get it done, just a spectacular knockout. But
no, this is his 45th fight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
26-17 and 1 no contest.
Oh shit, I missed the 1 no contest. He's gotta go out there, first round knockout, blow the doors off Damon Jackson. Boom, retires MSG. That would be pretty damn beautiful, honestly. I really hope so.
It would be.
That'd be awesome.
I hope they have a hype video package ready for him.
Fucking better.
Yeah, if he lets them know that that's the plan, they got the most fights out of anyone to pull highlights from.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, literally, it's fucking just crazy. Like, bro, if he's able to go out there,
you can show the 100, the 200, the 300.
Yeah.
Like,
not the 300.
You can show.
Well, like,
highlights.
You can show highlights in that.
Nah, yeah.
Just the fact that he's fought on all those cards, like his longevity is insane.
Yeah.
And you just show all of this like in a video package for him.
Like, the fact that Jim Miller has the potential to retire at 41 years old, going 3-1 in his last 4 fights, with all 3 wins being by stoppage and getting performance bonuses potentially on all. You know what I mean? Like, because I would not be surprised if he can finish Damon Jackson. You know, like, that's a very probable thing. So it's like, brother, just 45 fights in the UFC and you're retiring on, like, good overall. You know what I mean? Like, fucking his record would be 27-17-1. Like, incredible, man. What a legend. I really hope he's able to get it done and go out on top. That would just be incredible.
No, yeah, for real. I would love that.
I feel like the last real notable fight to bring up, Marcin Tybura. He is back taking on the man that was supposed to be fighting Derek Lewis in Canada, but because Lewis pulled out, he steps in with the fight against Marcin Tybura on this card. Jonata Deniz. It's like, I know that, just saying that you thought that, he could go out there and get it done over Derek Lewis, and like, Derek Lewis definitely one of those guys that can shit the bed and, like, wouldn't have been surprised. I feel like this is a bit tougher of a test for him against Marcin Tybura, who's gone 5 rounds, he's been in main events, and he can grapple, he can strike, you know what I mean? Not the best
for sure.
anywhere, but
he's definitely way more well-rounded. It's like Derek Lewis can knock anybody out if he can find that shot, but if he doesn't, he definitely has the potential to lose to anybody in a decision. Like, I've literally seen him say it, like, you know how easy it is to beat a fat guy? It's like, all you have to do is be good. Like, so with that, it's like, I just wouldn't have been surprised if Deniz was able to get that win, but with Tybura, like, he's much more well-rounded. He
is. Yeah, I just think it all depends on, like, what Deniz's game plan is for this fight, because, like, Tybura has been knocked out multiple times. He's been knocked out in the UFC by Derek Lewis, no shame in that. Shamil, Augusto Sakai.
Not great.
And then Tom Aspinall, which again makes sense. That was, in 23. Like, he's older and all that. Last fight was armbar loss to Sergey Spivak.
Yeah.
But like, I can just see if Deniz is smart and actually able to get him like where Tybura is the worst at, which is like him pushed up against the cage, he could easily get a knockout here.
Yeah. Definitely fair. 8-0 in his career, definitely a giant step up in competition from Carl Williams and motherfucking Marcin Tybura. So yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. Other than that, Mickey Gallback, I could have sworn that he was gone from the UFC or something. I just feel like he's always gone. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. His last fight was this year too.
God damn, I forgot about that.
June.
Basil Hafez.
Yep. But yeah, 7-6 overall in his career, and he's on this card, so good for him,
6-6 in the UFC.
Yeah. Veronica Hardy back, opening up the card. Hopefully she wins, but let's go. Other than that, that is all the good stuff to talk about leading into the fights this weekend. I hope everyone enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch you, hopefully, to a beautiful review with a motherfucking Stipe knockout. You know what I mean? Wait, let's go. Peace out, everyone.
OH!
Cleveland, we got a champion, baby.